Okay, it just started.
Oh. Give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Hello everyone and welcome to AOR evaluation race. For the start of the season 16, we are here at Bahrain International Circuit. I am with the beautiful Smeej.
Yes.
To commentate this exciting race.
Evaluation race, yeah. We've got some pretty good drivers in there. Notably, we've got Kimi Larson from F1 Esports, and I recognise Ian Bastain, and various others, so we should have an exciting race. But of course, we're on to qualifying now.
Remember, this is a stage that is required for the sign-ups.
Yes.
That along with the 3-time child.
Yep. And no one's out on track yet. Awesome.
So yeah, Kimi Larson in the Renault. I mean, wow. He's in the Renault with Esports. So.
Yes. It's not like anyone's watching. Can afford to like laugh a bit, I guess.
I should probably share the stream out, shouldn't I? Oh, I've got see cars coming out.
Yes. So that's a Mercedes leaving the garage. No idea who. There's a Taurus as well and a Sauber, all exiting the pits. Race Monster 45 is the first to venture onto the track, riding a ball with him.
We are going to see times vary.
Yeah, because a lot of these drivers are not at the skill level of some others, obviously.
Yeah,
mixed competition. What's it like? Over 300 now, I think.
For PC, yeah, I think over 1,000.
Over 1,000?
Yes.
Oh yeah, including assist leagues, probably, yeah.
Got on assist leagues.
Yep. I've got the rev glitch, that's nice. I can just hit every single fucking engine just blowing up.
Yeah, that is to be expected.
Lovely. It's very realistic, this game that Codemasters have given us.
Yes, but at least we are getting no notable game-breaking glitches. So
There's riding on board with Getsham now with the number 69 on the back of his car, because he's just that funny.
Oh god.
And the first person to start their lap will be Race Monster 45, I believe, as he's outlap ascended. Also the Sauber of Animus, so we're riding board with both of them, they go onto their laps. Kimi Larson is about to enter the last sector as well, so we'll start seeing the first times coming on the board soon.
Yeah, I'm going to watch out for a solid 125 from the Renault drive.
Of course, aiming to get into Split 1.
From Xbox, from PC. Yeah. A lot of drivers are transitioning.
Yes.
The 2 Celtugs are joining them.
The 2 Camels.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, they'll call that in the real commentaries. They'll call them Camels anyway, so you're good. Oh, there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Someone's clearly died.
Well, damage is off, so
yes, thankfully.
We should be seeing all drivers come to the finish.
Hopefully. Providing there's no disconnections, which there will be, but inevitably.
Coming through turn 10 and turn 11. Very tricky corner. 2 left-handers, and he gets that pretty spot on. Sauber right behind him, of Animus, yes.
Yes,
with
Animus. That's not the correct apex. It was a bit wide there from the Torosso driver of Race Monster. As he gets towards the end of his lap, we're going to see the first lap time, I believe, posted, as I believe the Haas head of him is on an out lap. As he comes down the back straight. And then into the last corner, we want to be braking just after 100 metre board, get it in 4th gear, or 3rd as he's chosen, and then up to the line to see quite possibly the first competitive time of the session. With line at still 1:27.4, which is alright, but then it's smashed by Animus on a 26.4, which is quite a good lap.
Okay, yeah.
Seeing Kimi Larson come towards the lines now. Up to line in the Renault, what's the time going to be? 26.3.
Oh, okay.
On provisional pole, as expected. Other people getting towards the end of their laps. The Varenzak.
The Animus time was quite competitive in the Sauber. He's gotten
Oh,
high upfield.
Varenzak's gone off the track and he's made a mistake there. He's made a hash of that last corner. And we'll see what
There's
the
a
time
Red
is.
Bull before turn 13.
Getting a slipstream there off the Torosso. And entering last corner now. Big Boss. That lovely rev limiter glitch that really encapsulates what the car sounds like perfectly. And up to the line, what's his time going to be? It's going to put him P8 for now, 28.3. Just over 2 seconds off pole.
Ian Bastian's coming through the final corner now.
Yep, Siniak, former Split 2 driver, has been there for the last 2 seasons. Is this time going to be competitive enough? No, he's going to enter the pits. He's bailed. He's bailed on that lap. Clearly not good enough. And
who else on the lap? Getstrom started his lap. He was the driver who made the mistake.
Yep.
Must have got on the curve somehow.
Oh, there's yellow flags. Is that for a car that's just moving slowly? No, a Renault. Reindl spun. Reindl spun off the track at turn 7 in his Renault. He's rejoined. He's already set a lap time of a 29.2 and he's blocked. He's blocked No, he hasn't. He's fuck. He's blocked the other Red Bull. Yeah. The big boss.
I think he was on an lap.
Thankfully was on a lap. Yeah.
So yeah, 4 drivers get set a time. That could change. A couple of moments. Livingston and Getstrom are both on their laps. Ian Bastian and Mr. Ghost have bailed on theirs, and we'll try another go. Getstrom are both on their laps. Ian Bastian and Mr. Ghost have bailed on theirs, and we'll try another go. Levin's having to get through a whole lot of traffic here, but he's coming around the final corner now. Not the greatest exit of all time, but it's okay. Up towards the line. Alright, it's a 128.7, which puts him 11th on the grid. Greatest exit of all time, but it's okay. Up towards the line. Alright, it's a 128.7, which puts him 11th on the grid.
Okay, I just noticed that no one's fucking watching and put it on Twitter now, so people might actually see it.
Okay, good.
Okay, cool.
I'll just link it whilst everyone's in the.
Yeah, we've just on the stream we've just been watching my Steam library for the last minute, which is nice.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, we've just on the stream we've just been watching. Oh shit! I can hear echo. Oh fuck! Cause I put my stream on and didn't mute it. Fuck. Okay, that's fixed now. Professional. But I think everything's working now, and most people are in the pits right now. My FPS is okay. My FPS is back now. I think should be good.
Yeah, look, most people, but half of them are on the outlaps and half of them are still in the pits. Qualifying has been extended to 18 minutes, so we should be seeing at least 3 runs. From
most of the drivers, yeah. Of course, they have 3 sets of the softest tire, the super soft, to run during the session, and also a set of the softs. Notably, qualifying on the soft seems to be a very fast strategy on this game, doing the one-stop. So if any drivers can manage to do that, that will help their race time tremendously, I suspect.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the tyre phase for everyone. No one's opted for the yellow stripe tyre. So it looks like they want to get their quickest time in qualifying to show their true qualifying pace.
We have yellow flags somewhere. I'm good at this.
Race monsters pulled off at turn 1 and 2.
Yep. Toss on the grass there. I suspect he wasn't on a lap, letting people through.
Yeah. I think Drawmaster's about to start his flying lap, second flying lap of the session. If he wants to get into split 1, he needs to show a bit more pace, if I'm being honest.
Yes.
125 is the time to aim for.
Yep, I got a 125 in my evaluation race. Let's ride and bob with Kimmy now onto his lap and see if he can match or improve on that. That's not the ideal line through turn 1 though. Ran wide. Okay, decent corner speed, but as he comes down the straight now, in between turn 3 and 4, might try and get the slipstream off the Red Bull of Big Boss. Entering turn 4 now, brake just after the 100, and take the apex in third gear, he's decided, not fourth. And then into the high speed, turn 6 and 7. Quite smooth, quite composed, but not that fast.
No, he didn't. He avoided that curve pretty well, which has been really known to really unsettle the car.
Particularly on this game, yeah.
Yes. Into the tight and twisty turn 11.
Just
He
hit the
does that pretty
apex.
well second gear.
Quite a tidy lap, but not perhaps pushing all the limits. So you're going to see him entering turn 12? I can't remember. Turn 12 probably.
Yes.
So in fourth now, going up the gears into the penultimate corner, turn 13. This corner can be a difficult one to get right. You want to turn in. He's missed the apex a bit there.
He's up third gear there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Normally use a gear like fourth for that corner. Clearly wanting the turn in, entering last corner just after 100 meters, shifting quickly down to third and then back on the power. Animus has set the fastest time, 26.3. Can Drillmaster beat it? He does. He goes into the 25s, 1:25.9.
Pretty solid lap time. It looks like a few more turns could be found for the Renault driver, but still, provisional pole takes the provisional pole back from the Sauber.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I haven't actually heard the name Animus before. I haven't heard about him. I presume he's a new sign-up, so it's going to be interesting to see what his pace seems to be like. He seems to be on perhaps contending for split 2 at this rate.
Yeah, half the drivers I had never heard of before, which is great to see. All the new sign-ups for the new season of AOR.
One driver I've most definitely heard of is Siniak, who's down there in P4 right now on a high 26.8. He'll want to be improving on that if he has aspirations of split 2 this season, or... Yes.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the hardest attempt of getting into that split 2 he's been in for the past 2 seasons now.
He was intending, of course, to switch on to PS4, but was having some issues with it, as he now enters the pits, readying presumably for his last run right at the end of the session.
Just under 6-7 minutes remaining in the session. Everyone pretty much going back into the pits for their final runs.
I have a yellow flag in Sector 2. What's that about? God knows.
It's cleared up now, so it must have been
now there's another yellow.
Away.
I presume these yellows are coming out a lot for cars that are off the racing line, slowing, because they've run out of fuel or are letting people through or whatever. Yellow in Sector 1.
More yellow flags.
Yep. Going on.
Bound to be someone going really
of course,
slowly.
generally now cars entering the pits, going on to their last flying run. Fred Gioco finishes his lap, 27.2 I believe. Unless you already set that before. I believe Paschek is in a lap in the Haas. Interesting to see if he can improve on that current 26.7, a respectable lap time. Who else is out there? Reindl's on an out lap, and he's probably doing his final run before most other people, because I guess that's his final flying lap.
He could run into some issues with traffic here. That's a risk you play going out quite early.
Yep.
Down in last place, the 129.2, which is he's close to Cass and McLaren, but
he's very close. Down there.
Not a place you really want to be at the back of the grid.
Yep. Interesting to see he can improve on that time on this lap, which he's about half a minute away from starting. Other drivers out there, Race Monster 45 in the Toro, currently in a respectable 10th place, 27.4 for now. He looks to be starting his final run earlier than most, as we have another yellow flag. Not sure that's about.
I think it might be the Mercedes of Fagioco on the back straight there, letting the Williams and Mr. Peace type through, who's also possibly on an outlap. Yeah, he's 4 seconds off the pace. He's definitely on either an outlap or an in-lap. Top 2 though are still in the pits. I'm probably waiting for the last possible opportunity. The grip is at the highest.
Ian Bastain on his outlap, and we're waiting to see the first times of Reindl come through soon enough, I suspect. Well, he's going through turn 4 now in third gear, getting the turn in, and then exiting into turn 6 and 7 again in the run out.
Bit wide
Yeah,
there. It's
bit
not going
wide.
to help his run onto here. Nearly gets on the curb. Just about avoids it.
And very wide at the hairpin.
Locked up.
This doesn't look like an amazing lap. Lost the rear end there. On that,
Nailed turn 11.
not quite. Again, probably suffering with locking up or not enough braking performance. Seems to be running wide a lot.
Yeah, the setup might need adjusting a little bit, but he has very little time. He wants to set up because Parc Ferme is on.
Yeah, he might be able to get to the pits at the end of this lap if he doesn't feel it's amazing. Strap on another set of tyres and go for a final run right at the end of the session, but that would be his own choice to do so. I assume we're now seeing Race Monster 45 in the middle sector. See if he can improve on his time.
Surprising, only about 5 drivers are actually out on the track. Everyone's leaving it until late.
Everyone's leaving it to the very last second to get the most grip out of the track. And Reindl's improved by a lot. 28.1 there.
It's nice, a decent lap from him.
Jumped 4 cars there.
I doubt he'll be going for another run, but you never know. So sometimes we found there from the Renault driver. His teammate though is is on provisional pole, and is still in the pit lane with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Actually, speaking of Kimi Larson, he's out onto the
Exiting
track.
the pits, our provisional
as we
pole
speak.
sitter. Going for his last run here. All the we're going to be seeing all of the drivers now come out for their very fast, and we're seeing Race Monster retire from the session, presumably because he's just set his lap time.
I don't know if he
His final
improved on
run.
that lap.
Not entirely sure. Still on P10. So maybe he did not.
He did 20 thousandths, pretty much. It wasn't a massive improvement. He stays 10th, and he could possibly be dropped out of the top 10, but that would mean a free choice of tyres before the start of the race.
Which can be very handy, of course. Interesting to note that Drawmaster, Kimi Larson, his first sector on his previous lap was a 10th slower than his previous lap and a 10th slower of Animus on the 26.3 behind him. So he's going to be looking to improve on that. And that's probably a potential gain area for the Renault driver if he wants to slot into the mid-25s, which I presume he does.
Ian Bastian improves to 1:26.5. Still, he stays on the second row of the grid.
And he's going to stay there for the rest of the session, I believe, because he's backing out of this lap. Doesn't have enough fuel.
Yes. So it's not a bad lap time from the.
Yeah, 26.5 is respectable.
But if he wants to stay in that split 2 of his, might not be good enough. We'll have to wait and see. John Master starts his lap now.
Philip, fuck off. Philip just Steam messaged me with follow VP Smash on Twitter. Nice dude.
Pretty decent turn 1 there from the Renault driver.
Yeah.
He might have nailed that, which he might not have nailed on his previous best.
As he gets the run now down towards turn 4. Let's ride on board again with eSports Renault driver Philip fuck off as he now exits turn 4 into the chicane 6 and 7. Looks a bit, it looks quite neat, and then into the hairpin now. Quite a good apex there, into first, and then exiting now down towards the notoriously difficult double left as the session has officially ended.
I like that. That looked pretty spot on, if I had to say so for myself. And that is Animus right in front of him.
And the Sauber, the driver who's closest to him in the session. And the pass check guy not the pass check, just pass check in P3 has backed out of his final lap.
Yeah,
he's not going to improve. So the battle between pole position, it seems to be, between the two drivers now entering the last corner. Right on board with Animus. Seems quite well hooked up. Not the best exit, but up to the line, and he's bailed. He's bailed. He's bailed.
What about Drawmaster though?
Can he improve?
The line.
He improves quite a lot. 25.4.
Great lap time from Kimi Larson, and that is pole guaranteed.
Dominant.
No one else will challenge him. Nearly a second ahead of Animus this time.
I believe the closest guy still on a lap is Getsham, who's now entering the last 2 corners. Now exiting the penultimate corner, back down the back straight. Currently P8 will want to try and get into the 26s to improve on that. Now into the last corner, that's late braking. Yeah, a bit wide, but up to line. He's lost the rear end. Is that lap over, or is he still going to improve? He doesn't quite improve. Stays at the 27.005.
8th place for the Rebel driver. It's not bad qualifying position for the Rebels. 5th and 8th. Bad.
I believe everyone's session is over now, apart from Hignoldi. He's also entering the pits as well.
There you have it. Kimi Larson is on pole for the evaluation race. That's probably what he planned to do, and that is what he has done.
Notable good performance. Animus and the Sauber doing, and pass check, both in the low 26s there. Good performances.
Yeah, and both drivers I actually haven't heard of before. Ian Bastian in 4th. I assume he might be a bit disappointed with that lap.
That aptly named Some Idiot is in P6 in the Force India. Didn't talk about him in that session pretty much at all, but solid result.
Quite quiet, but yeah. Bagioko in P7 with a 1:26.8 as the screen interrupts me.
Yep, as we're now cutting on to the final session standings, which we'll see now.
It'd be interesting to see the 11th to 19th what strategy they go for. Starting on the softs, maybe even the mediums, and trying the one stop, which has been proven to help lap time definitely at the end of the race.
So there's your pole sitter then, Drawmaster 99, Kimi Larson, the Swede in the Renault, by 9/10 of a second. That is a dominant result over Animus, the Canadian, in the Sauber. And there's the rest of your grid then, as I take screenshots. And will be interesting to see in this race whether pole sitter Kimi Larson goes for the 1 or the 2 stop.
Yeah, on a bid to try and impress the AOR coordinators, try and get place in the best split on PC after being the best split of Xbox in season 15. That must be the aim for the Swedish.
And
as B. Davis left the session.
Unfortunately, that's his race over. I hope he's done if he hasn't done an evaluation race before this, that's a disaster really for him.
Yeah.
Bad luck there, as we're now waiting for everyone to make their final strategic changes. See whether they're 1 stopping or 2 stopping, what tyres they're starting on, the fuel levels of course. And perhaps psyching up for this very difficult, very challenging race.
A lot of pressure on the drivers because this is the last chance to impress.
Yeah, the very last chance now. So we're getting ready for the formation lap.
Yeah.
Kimi Larson leaves the grid.
Formation lap enabled for the first time since season 13, I think.
And we already have 2 people disqualified, for fuck's sake. It's I'm just hearing that B-Dave's game has crashed. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll be able to rejoin. Actually, he might be able to rejoin the session. If we can get someone to get him an invite.
Car is his car there? I don't know, maybe it's not there. Well, Mr. Pete's type who was starting alongside him. The car behind him is a Toro Rosso with Race Monster. So I'm not 100% sure if B-Day will be able to make it.
Asked Kaz to re-invite the guy. Kaz himself there in P18, and there he's back. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin then for this race.
Yeah, that'll be massive disappointment for the Haas driver, I do believe. Starting in P10. Interesting to see what tyres everyone's running. There's some soft tyre runners and a medium tyre runner of Livingston in the Toro Rosso.
Yep.
Starting in P15. Everyone else, it looks like, outside the top 10 is on either on the super softs or the softs.
Yeah, tyre details. Everyone in the top 10 on the supers. Mr. Ghost 010 is on the softs. Race Monster supers. Boxer Frog and Joel on the softs. Mediums for Livingston, the only man in the field to do so in the Toro Rosso, and the last 4 of Reindor, Hignoldi, Vorenzak, and Bew. I assume that's how you pronounce it. All on the softs.
So here we go then. Kimi Larson
forming up
is now controlled by the AI, as he now forms up with the 2 disqualified drivers
in front of him.
Let's just stood there in shame. But here we go then.
Run down to turn 1 very long here. We'll be hoping for Kimi Larsen to get a clean start. But then if he doesn't, we could have an exciting run down to turn 1, so you never know. So waiting for now the Sauber of Bew at the opposite end of the grid to his teammate. Waiting for him to form up, and then we'll be ready to go racing here in Bahrain.
Yes.
Here we go then.
No, they're not appearing on my screen, but they're definitely appearing on the driver's screens. So away we go then.
We're away in
Good start,
Bahrain.
looks like, from Kimi Larsen. Animus not really getting the best of starts, not to Force India. Might be challenging down into turn 1.
Paschek's taken second place. There's contact.
Paschek passed it round the outside, but Animus fights him back.
Side by side.
Towards turn 4. Ian Baston's got a great front row view for this battle. Into turn 4 we go now. The Sauber has the inside line, and the Haas doesn't get the best exit, and the Sauber reclaims that second place.
Yeah, Animus back into P2 there after what was a shaky start. Paschek holds P3. Siniak's trying. Oh, Ian Bastain is trying to get the place off Paschek, but he seems to keep the place as well. There's an overtake of Mr. Peace type side by side with Big Boss. So they come down to the double left. Is he going to hold it? He's held it. He's got it down the inside. There's contact. But I think he might have got the place, got the better exit. We'll tuck into a slipstream, of course, but I think he's got the place.
Here comes second Red Bull as B. Dave has left the session again. Yeah. He might not have been able to rejoin.
Unfortunately, yeah.
His car. Big Boss goes a little bit wide. Would that invite Mr. Peace type to try and make a run on him? No, it doesn't. Battling.
Yeah, Big Boss holds the place for now in Williams sandwich with Red Bull bread. Big Boss losing the rear end there, but Getsham now all over the back of Mr. Piss type. Aaron might go for the move. Not afraid of a dive bomb.
Does know Mr. Peace type both were in F4 last season. Getsham in the Red Bull in that season, in the Red Bull in this race. Looks like he's running quite a aggressive. Well, other drivers like Mr. Peace type are running a very aggressive aero strategy. It's now going to try and move down the inside of the Red Bull driver at turn 1. He's got the outside line for turn 2, and he can't make the move stick with Big Boss.
Oh, Big Boss is gone. Red Bull spun.
And he's lost it. He's facing the wrong way up towards turn 4.
Surely down to last. And yeah, he's down into last place. Disappointment from the man who was running in P6, I believe. Gutting for him.
Crucially for him, it's not all about what position you come in. It's about the lap times he.
Yeah, but you'll be worrying about his tyre temperatures now, won't he? The carcass temperatures, new feature for F1 2018. They're not going to be liking that as he runs wide at turn 7, possibly as a result.
Yeah, very difficult to get the tyres up to temperature. Probably the most difficult game so far in the franchise for tyres, and trying to get them back into an optimal working range. But he seems to be doing all right now, and he's got 3-second gap to D-Joel in P17, who's crucially on a slower tyre to the Red Bull.
So let's ride on board now with Ian Bastain Siniak, who's right behind the Haas of P3. Run a bit wide there though, and the Force India behind him is now close as well. These are definitely 3 closest people on track. Ian is low on ERS, he's down to 40%, whereas...
Oh, hang on a minute, there's a move for P7. Miss Frajuco is on the inside of Getsham. Getsham might be having another say on the main straight. No DRS activated just yet. The Red Bull is sizing up a move on the inside. ERS up to overtake, maybe even hot lap. No, he backed out.
And whilst that was going on, notably, Siniak lost the rear end out of the last corner and has lost the place to Force India now of some idiot, aptly named, has taken P4.
So it's Williams 5 and 6 for the time being. P-Stop is just a little bit too far back from this battle for 3rd place.
You'll be gutted for Ian there. He was looking to size up the move on Paschek, only 2 tenths behind, then got caught in the dirty air perhaps, lost the rear end and is now behind 2 cars that are arguably slower than him.
He thinks he's quick enough, he needs to get past them ASAP. Because the last thing he wants to do is have his lap times hammered by squabbling with other drivers.
And being blocked, yeah. DRS enabled on this lap. This is the closest battle in the field for now, so I guess we'll ride aboard. Some idiot has shown he qualified P6, I believe, in the Force India, but is holding some very good pace against these guys who are on the 2nd row. Paschek is falling back, most definitely from Animus, who's falling back from our dominant leader, Drawmaster Kimi Larsen, with a 2-second lead inside the first 3 laps.
Yeah, somebody will have DRS. There's yellow flag in
yellow
sector
flag.
2. It
Oh,
might be
Reindl.
Reindl. Yep,
I
he
think
is.
it's Reindl. Yep, spun out of the penultimate corner. It's
And
not
he is
gone well.
down to 17th place. But crucially, somebody has DRS on the Haas, and he's
He's got a
gaining
good toe,
all the way
got
on this
good
main
toe.
straight. He's going to pull out to the inside, and I think the move might be done into turn 1. We go now.
Side by
Inside
side.
line for the Force India, outside line for the Haas. The Haas might be fighting back here. Inside line for turn 2, but
Beautiful
great
work.
move
Beautiful work from the Force India.
around the outside. And he goes up into the podium places. Ian Bassett might be having a say now down the inside. Oh no, a little bit too far back. It's a challenge.
Terrific.
This battle is a great battle.
Terrific battle between the Force India Haas and Williams. Ian Bastain sticking behind, though he does seem to have some good pace over these two. So we'll see how that unfolds over the rest of the stint and indeed the race.
For other gaps, I think Hinyati is very close to the back of Bio, and his teammate is not that far back behind either. This is a battle for P13, 14 and 15, all on the soft tyres. As Big Boss is caught back up onto this pack a little bit, he's still 2 seconds behind Reindl. And he needs to get back up and back up to pace
In this race.
on those super soft tyres. Yes, down at the back of the field. Ian Bastine though, still all over the back of the Haas driver, who's consequently all over the back of the Force India, but not as much as the Williams.
But with P3 or a long way behind P2, we should be seeing a lot of slipstream and Erzfests down towards turn 1.
Sauber's in the pits already.
Sauber in the pit lane. Animus. Definitely the 2-stop then, I guess.
Yes, those tyres have had their say on things, and he might be coming into the pits for another set of supers. No, it's
Siniak down the inside of Paschek, around the outside. It's going to be very tight, but I believe he might well have got the place. Yes, he has.
Yes,
He's pulled ahead. Siniak into P3 there, effective P4. However, if Animus rejoins, of course, in last place.
Oh, what a move by Joko on the inside of Mr. Peacetype at turn 4. He caught the Williams napping there, and he makes his move into P5.
There's a Red Bull.
might be having his say on
the inside. There's a bit of contact again with robbing wheel to side pod. I believe Mr. Peacetype keeps the place over the Red Bull for now. I will see how this very close battle also for P6 effectively unfolds with the next few laps.
Mr. Ghost doing very well in P8 on the soft tyres, keeping up with these drivers squabbling.
And of course, tyre wear is going to come towards him.
Yeah, one-stop strategy, he could be aiming for that, and that could put him way up the field.
If some drivers ahead of him make the 2-stop work, we could be seeing him battling for perhaps even a podium by the end of the race, only a few seconds behind Siniak, who's currently holding down that P3.
Well, Animus, who pitted a lap before, is in last place, all over the back though of Big Boss. So you know, traffic's going to become an issue for those doing the 2-stop. He needs to try and clear the Red Bull as soon as possible, and he's making the move down the inside of the last corner, and he makes the move stick. Big Boss knows that's a battle not worth fighting.
But who has the DRS now? I think it's Animus.
Oh,
Animus keeps the DRS, and Big Boss enters the pits.
Gyoko and Getchum now battling as Williams has made his move back up into that 5th place ahead of the Mercedes. Getchum might now try for a move on turn 6. He gets a good run there, but no, it's not really a place you want to go side by side with. He gets well over the curb, but thankfully for the Red Bull driver, it doesn't unsettle the car.
I believe Fred Joko's tyres in particular, of course, lots of these drivers are going to be having tyre wear issues around now, but I've seen Fred Joko have a couple of slides recently, and another one there. Could we be seeing a bit of wear for the Mercedes Italian driver? And could we see Aaron take the place?
Drivers want to do a one-stop onto the mediums. It's around lap 9, lap 10 the drivers will be pitting. As Getchum is
very
all
close,
over the
having
back.
to get out the throttle to avoid.
Yes, he is, and he might get a good run onto this straight here. He'll get DRS for the next straight though, but Fred Joker might call it quits on this stint. Mr. Peacetype is definitely,
and as is the Mercedes, both in the pits. Aaron takes effective P5. In Bastain has overtaken some idiot. That's gone completely under the radar.
Oh,
Into
yes.
turn 1, I believe. Or maybe on the DRS down the straight. In Bastain, very low on ERS now, and some idiot might be looking to shape up a move now into turn 4. Quite far back, though. Not going to work. But he'll stay behind him, I presume, until they make their pit
Oh, here
stops.
goes Mr. Ghost then. On the inside of Getchum.
Getchum retakes
into
it.
turn 4. A lot of steering inputs for the Ferrari driver as he now side by side and backs out of the move quite sensibly there.
Aaron holds
Not really
the
a
place
place
well.
to see side by side battling.
Animus battling with Kaz for P12. Of course, not effective P12. Animus has made a pit stop. Carved through a lot of those guys down the field quite well. Of course, Mr. P-Stop and Fragioco made their pit stops in quite good clean air, though, to be fair.
Yeah, that'll definitely help them.
We've seen Mr. Ghost now take the place against Aaron Getchum, and is holding.
This isn't going to help Aaron's race. Getting overtaken by another driver, especially if he's trying to
Oh,
fight.
it's yellow,
oh,
yellow,
it's
yellow.
contact.
I believe
Mr.
Idiot and
P-Site's
Bastain.
made contact, I think. Oh,
No,
he isn't.
Siniak
It's
has
Ian
made
Bastain.
contact with
It's the
some
other
idiot, I
Williams.
believe. Passcheck has just done a worldie there, overtaking 2 cars as they came together. That is not good for either of their races, particularly not for Siniak, who was holding down P2 and looking like he had finally converted some good pace, but has now
There's more
dropped
yellow
down.
flags out. Is it for Cass? Yes, it is.
Kaz,
He's going off at turn 14, I think.
so now watching our race leader pit. Everything's kicking off right now, but riding board now with 3
Idiot
drivers in the
lead.
pits.
Yep. Kimi Larson,
Where does he exit? That's the question.
Passcheck, and Ian Bastain all onto a set of soft. Actually, no. Passcheck is on the medium tyres.
Passcheck wanting to do the 1-stop, I guess.
A little bit early.
Interesting to see Kimi Larson commit to this 2-stop. Unless he
Comes
wants.
out on a nice bit of clean air. Crucially, Animus is only 1 second behind him, so he did very well to carve his way through the field.
With his undercut. Unfortunately, the undercut hasn't worked to give him a position, and of course they're both going to be having to do the 2-stop now, and I'd expect Kimi on fresher tyres and already having superior pace, I guess, to be able to pull away quite comfortably now. But of course they're going to run into this traffic now of these drivers who have not pitted yet.
Yeah, one example being Levingston on the medium tyre, still going strong in the Toro Rosso, behind the other Sauber of Bo, I think that's how you say it. But yeah, some idiot is currently leading the Grand Prix, but obviously it's not an effective P1 because he still is yet to pit. Neither is Mr. Ghost or Getchum, who's dropped off the back of the Ferrari driver on the soft tyres. I won't be surprised if we see the Red Bull driver coming into the pits this lap.
Yep, I believe the super softs are way past their sell-by date now as such, as somebody enters the pits, proving my point.
And so does Aaron.
Got yellow flags in the last sector. Who's this for?
Reindl.
Reindl in the Renault.
Yep.
He's off the track in the gravel on the tyres. Race Monster's also going to take his place. Disappointing for him, he's off the racing line. Not good for him. He seems to be backing off.
As Kimi Larson makes his move on Levingston and he's up to P4. Pretty easy move. And here comes the Sauber of Animus trying to do exactly what he did.
Oh, it's
and
a
he's
late move.
Sent it up the inside. Very late move
But he's
on
got
the Toro
place.
Rosso and he makes it stick. It's very bold there. Danny Rick style from the Sauber driver and he pulls it off. And crucially, he's still behind. He's still only a second behind Drummaster as he makes his move.
As Bew
on
has given the
second
place.
driver, yep.
Bew
And I won't be
gives them,
surprised
lets them
if
through.
he lets his teammates through now. Yep.
Bew not defending there. Very clever of the driver in the Sauber to not interfere with these guys on better strategies and have better pace right now.
Animus is still, he's got good pace compared to the Renault driver. He's still within a second.
We're seeing Getchum and Race Monster for P15 now, side by side, still side by side through the double left. Who's got the place? I believe it looked like it'd be Aaron, but then Race Monster's got the better exit. A bit of weaving going on there, and they're now side by side. Getchum's got the DRS. He's going to back out though, quite cleverly there. On those fresh mediums, they come up as red on my screen for some reason. Nice. But Race Monster holds the
Another
place.
move for P7. Hignoldi is having to defend from the Ferrari. And Hignoldi's, no it's not, he's blocked a place. There's another yellow flag somewhere.
Yellow's
Is it
everywhere.
for Reindl
I believe
again?
it's for Reindl. I believe Reindl's
Yes,
having
again.
issues of some kind. Not sure which.
It's that corner there of turn 13. maybe turn 14 as well.
It's a very
It's having all these issues.
a very difficult corner, the third to last one. Very difficult to hold flat out towards the end of the stints. Maybe he's having stability issues there if he's gone for 9
Oh,
ballast.
it's a massive tank slabber for Animus there on the exit of turn 4 there. It's dropped off a little bit.
Getcham and Race Monster are having a great battle actually for P15. I'm going to cut you off there a bit because they're going side by side through a lot of corners right now. Has Aaron got the place finally? Quite possibly. Hayden, go away.
Yes,
Stop steam listing. I can disable Steam Notice in a minute. It's not fun. So
the Rebel makes his mark ahead of Toro Rosso driver. That's not really.
oh my god, there's a four-way battle here.
Oh my god.
The P7. Oh, the Ferrari's nearly gone. The Ferrari spun. Very worn tyres. Joel 74 has spun. I was just starting to ride on board with that very close four-way battle led by Ian Bastain for P7, but then the Ferrari who I was riding on board with of Joel 74 has spun on those old tyres and dropped now to P13.
Before that happened though, Race Monster made a ridiculous dive bomb on Getcham at turn 9, which was almost like almost like a suicidal move. As Getcham now, thankfully, is still ahead of him, and now he is past the McLaren of Cass. Who knows? It's not a battle worth fighting, but Race Monster might be a battle worth fighting.
Yep.
Both from the same tyres, but he gets a shocking exit out to the last corner, and Toro Rosso steams past him.
I'm hoping these two can keep battling because it's providing a lot of action right now, but Bo and Livingston, I believe Bo might have run wide there or maybe just decided to surrender the place, which wouldn't make so much sense because they seem to be on the same strategy. There's another overtake going on and another. Animus and Boxer Frog seem to be battling as well as Mr. Peace Type and Hinyoldi. Keep an eye on both of these.
That's very close between the Sauber and the Mercedes. Boxer Frog is not giving this place up without a fight, and I think he might have to bail out of this one. Sauber actually doesn't have DRS. Mercedes is one with the rear wing flap open. Down the inside it goes. It's a bit argy-bargy stuff, and he's actually managed to get back.
Nice. He's just died. Anyway, Mercedes and Sauber, Animus and Boxer Frog still going side by side, though Boxer Frog seems to have surrendered the place. Don't know why my comrade has just died, but we'll carry on. Mr. Ghost now has been Drawmaster retakes the lead as Mr. Ghost on those very old tyres surrendered it. I believe is Cozzy back? Has he undied?
What? I was talking the whole time. What?
Yeah, well, you just died for like 30 seconds,
Oh,
but we'll ignore that. We've got Animus and Boxer Frog still going hammer and tong. I believe Animus might well have just taken the place now off the Mercedes driver for good.
Both of them.
Shame we couldn't hear any of it.
Yeah, that was an issue on my end.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I've seen Hinyoldi now, who I believe started on the soft tyres, has just picked for another set of softs. Maybe that's a mistake, or maybe he wants to do the aggressive two-stop soft, super. That's interesting to see from the McLaren.
Yeah, it's definitely soft tyres. He's definitely trying a very strange strategy. Down in 17th.
Any battles unfolding? You seem to see Bew hanging on to the back of Livingston for P5. Of course, both of them. Livingston on the mediums now, which assumingly might well have got their pace edge over the very worn softs by this point. However, that's not going to stop Bew from having a few looks going through this section on the back of the Torso.
I'll be interested to see if he pits onto the supers and stretches his medium stint, or he goes for the set of soft tyres. His Drawmaster is keeping the pace up. Fastest lap for him. He's 3 seconds ahead of Mr. Ghost.
And Animus
right behind him.
Animus on, of course, this Mr. Ghost. He's on slightly more worn tyres than Animus, but only by 4 laps. So this could effectively be 4 position, or he could see it as that way because Animus is only on slightly fresher tyres because he did a very bold strategy of pitting very early in this race.
Need to pit again. So it might be worth Mr. Ghost trying to defend this position for all his might, but you can see just how much he's struggling. Down the inside goes a Sauber. And he actually doesn't pick it. He picks his fights well, and he doesn't pick that one. Sauber is up into second place.
And Mr. Ghost holds P3, though runs quite wide there, stuck on the curb, I believe, on entry. Now seeing Bew again, still all over the back of Livingston for that P4 place. Of course, on similar strategies in the end. And we're seeing quite the train form now, or quite the pack of cars behind these two. With
three battling before the pit stops, and now they're back again for round 2. Some idiots lost a bit of time now on the other two, but crucially, he's on the medium tyres as well as Pasjak. Ian Bastine going for the soft tyres all over the back of the Sauber driver. It's very close.
and
He might be sizing up a move here into the last corner.
there he goes.
There
That's
he
a
goes.
dive bomb, but he's got the place, I believe. Bew forced to back out of it, and Pasjak now has also passed the Sauber, enters the pit lane for his one and only stop onto a set of mediums. As does Mr. Ghost.
What happens now between the Haas and the Ian Bastine? He tries for a move.
The Haas and the Ian Bastine. I'm sorry, that's hilarious. Moving on. You can speak.
Sorry.
He's just a
It
V.
reminded me of Murray Walker one time. It was like the two McLarens, someone in Hockenheim, and he said like Mika Hakkinen with like one car or something. I don't know.
So,
I'll have to get that clip up. But yeah. Anyway, Ian Bastine is up to 4th place, where he was effectively before the pit stops. And he's making a move.
Third, yeah, dive bomb on. Once again, we're seeing a dive bomb from the very aggressive Williams driver today, as he surpasses Livingston on the different strategy. Of course, he'll be pitting in a few laps time for soft tyres, I suspect. Who's run wide, possibly surrendering the place now to Pasjak. They've both got DRS. Could we see a move unfold? The Haas seems a bit too far back for now, but no doubt he'll be looking to get past in a couple of corners' time.
You can see how much the Toro Rosso driver is struggling compared to the fresh, well, not fresh, kind of, 6 lap 1 medium tyres on the Haas driver, but still the massive pace disadvantage for the Toro Rosso driver, and we should be seeing a move maybe into this corner. No, he thinks better of it and try and get DRS onto the main straight, which DRS it's been extended for this year. There it was there, it's now there. It was just before the start finish line, and he's now way past Toro Rosso driver, and he makes the move up into 4th place.
And we've seen another overtake of Fred Joker and Mr. Peace type down that DRS straight, which is, of course, seen the most amount of moves during this race, I would say. Mr. Peace type forced to tuck in behind the Mercedes, who takes P7 on his soft tyres.
Yeah, it's been proven very effective, that extent in the DRS activation. And yeah, Mercedes does make his move on the Williams driver, but I suspect that if Mr. Peace type stays in the second, he could be back for round 2.
Yep, Mr. Peace type is still, of course, these guys on the same strategy, pitted on the same lap for the same tyres, both going for the 2-stop. Will be interesting to see what tyres they opt for in the final stint, whether that be supers or softs. But Mr. Peace type is really not giving up this place and is now in the DRS and slipstream. We're looking to materialise a move, because we've seen a move between Force India and Toro Rosso, some idiot and Livingston.
Toro Rosso is still in there, but he backs out of it crucially. Otherwise, that could have got very, very hairy into
very
that.
Messy.
12.
But yeah, I assume Livingston will be pitting in a few laps' time. Of course, the two drivers behind him, of Fregio and Mr. Peace type, will probably have to overtake him, and that'll be interesting to see as well. But this will be interesting to see as well if Livingston might try and fight back with DRS and a bit of ERS usage into turn 1 against the Force India.
His ERS usage is very low, actually, so I suspect he might think better of it. And
he's hit the rear end. There's contact. He's missed his braking point and gone into the back of the Force India. Of course, damage is off, thankfully for him. Otherwise, that would presumably be like a yellow or orange wing, which definitely wouldn't help his afternoon. But Mr. Peace type now is again all over the back of the Mercedes, and there's contact between them as well.
Yeah.
Bit more light this time. Williams really hunting down the Mercedes driver in front of him.
A great camera overhead shot to see the Williams all over the back of the Mercedes, and both of them will probably catch the Toro Rosso in a short period of time here. I think gaps starting to settle now. Kimi Lawson is way out in front in his Renault ahead of Animus, who's way out ahead of Ian Steen in third place. He's got a 1.3-second gap to Paschek in fourth, with some idiot completing the top 5.
I might be checking the lap times to see if Ian Bastain, on fresher tyres notably as well, is
Oh,
closing
and
the
there
gap.
goes Livingston.
That was the problem for Livingston, I suspect.
Made it.
Yeah, he's dropped
Made a
2.5
meal
seconds
out of
behind.
turn 12.
Adams
And now
pits.
the
Adams is
Mercedes.
in the pits.
Oh, he is. He's going for a second pit stop.
Stop of the afternoon onto soft tyres, I believe it will be.
Yeah, he did very well in that first set. Made a little bit of a mess. Well, not a little bit, a very big mess on the exit of turn 12. But thankfully, he didn't hit the wall, and he only cost himself around 2 seconds. Plus a warning. Speaking of warnings, that's Randall with a 3-second time penalty.
Yes, I
He
think
was down in
that's
the last place.
yeah. I think that's the first penalty of the afternoon. A lot of the drivers keeping it clean, and understandably so. Mr. P-Stop finally got the move back done on Fragio there. Williams overtakes the Mercedes. That'll be brawling for the rest of the race, I suspect, as they seem to be showing very similar pace. Thankfully for Animus, who's just run a bit wide there out of turn 7, he's on quite clear air now, 6 seconds to the 2 drivers ahead of him, and will be looking to kick on, and maybe even, will probably not be able to undercut Kimi, but we'll certainly try and close the gap on these fresher tyres.
Yep, crucially with a lot of clear air in front of him. 5-second gap to those two, to the Mercedes and Williams, who are squabbling. So we'll be able to catch them soon enough, which
Talking of squabbles,
hopefully won't help them.
Talking of squabbles, Renault and Renault and McLaren, Rydal and Varenzak going side by side. Of course, this is for effective last place, but that's not stopping them banging wheels. That's very tight there, entering turn 6. Kaz holds the position for now. We'll see how that materialises as well, as Rydal is on more 1 tyres. Kaz might be able to pull away now. Fred Joker gonna rejoin behind his teammate? Yeah, he does, and possibly behind a lot of cars there as well. Big Boss also entering the pits.
Livingston's coming on the main straight here. A guy who was just ahead of Mercedes before they pitted. He's going to go around the outside of him.
Oh, he's had an issue. He's spun. Fred Gioco and the Mercedes has spun. I don't know what's happened there, but he's clearly clonked the curb trying to avoid and then maybe got on the throttle a bit too eagerly. That is certainly not helping him, and he's now dropped about 7 or 8 seconds from that spin alone, which is disappointing for him, no doubt.
Yeah, it's definitely going to relieve Mr. Peaslap and the Williams, who probably won't know that. But he should come out way ahead on the Mercedes driver after that small error.
I was seeing Reindl and De Varenzak going wheel to wheel once again. These guys battling for P last effectively, but still interesting to spectate nonetheless as Renault takes the position.
Ian Bastien is now coming into the pits. Paschek have been gaining on him in these past couple of laps, and the Dutch Williams driver is now coming in for his second pit stop onto a set of soft tyres.
Animus, fastest lap. Now, we're going to see...
oh, that's not what you're going to do.
Stop-go penalty. Sped in. It's so easy to do here if you just try and push that much, because it looks so simple, but if you go a bit too late, you'll get the penalty. And he's going on to soft tyres for now.
He'll come out behind Fragioka, but possibly in 14th, 13th maybe, as he comes out the pit lane. Yep, there goes Mercedes sailing past into turn 1. Hopefully he doesn't clap the curb like he did last time. Nope, he just gets through there nicely. Trying to find some battles in the field. Levingson's right behind Mr. Peace-type, who has made his pit stop as well.
Yellow, sector 1.
Flag.
Who's that for?
It's Big Boss.
Oh, Big Boss retired from the
session.
Interesting scenes. The Red Bull parked at the side of the road.
Oh, that's not what you want to see. The AI going across the track. Thankfully, there was no cars approaching turn 3.
Our race leader.
Big Boss is calling it a day.
Our race leader Kimi Larsen into the pits for another set of softs. Does not hold on to the lead though, interestingly. If Pazchek is doing the one stop, which I believe he is, assuming he doesn't enter tyre wear issues of course, is effective leading ahead of some idiot who might be doing the same thing as well.
Yeah, Kimi Lawson out in P3. There's 2 cars ahead of him that he needs to clear if he wants to win the race.
Gonna have some work to do.
Crucially it's on the fastest tyres, and he was comfortably leading. He had the quickest, he's quickest on the field right now. So we should be seeing him take second place definitely in the next coming laps and possibly lead.
As Mr. Ghost has surrendered the position to Ian Bastain, who's made his second pit stop recently, onto the set of softs, has now overtaken the Ferrari driver and looks to pursue Getsham now in front of him, who also looks to be doing the one stop and is 3 seconds ahead for now.
Yep, and Drillmaster is gaining a lot on the medium fitted Force India. To come through turn 12 and turn 13 now.
Just right on
Very
board with him.
wide.
Of course he's going to be
driver.
wanting to take the place and will do any matters to do so. Got a lot of Urs stored up. A lot more than the Force India ahead of him, who's only on 20% relative to his 90. Going to see him now slipstream, not even slipstream, just DRS. Just chug past him. Not really a battle worth fighting.
Way before turn 1.
Not even close.
Yep. Already 5 car lengths ahead of him as we reach turn 1.
Some idiot knows who to fight with, and it's definitely not the Renault driver on this afternoon, who's looked pretty much untouchable, but he doesn't lead the race. That'd be Pazchek, who we haven't talked about that much recently, but he's holding down the lead. Stellar job from him.
Very, very good job from the Haas driver, who we haven't heard of before, and he's been doing very, very good race for himself. Opted to the one-stop strategy instead of the his rival at the time, Ian Bastain, opted for. He's down in 6th, and he's a second behind Getsham, who's in 5th place.
It's going to be interesting to see if Pazchek can hold on to it. Of course, it's pretty much inevitable, but that Drawmaster will overtake him with the devastating pace he's been showing. But if Animus, who's currently 7.5 seconds behind, if he can get him by the end of the 29 laps this afternoon, can Pazchek hold on for a podium?
That'll be very interesting to see. Animus 3.6 seconds behind some idiot.
There's
a move there. Ian Bastain ahead of the Red Bull. He is now up into 5th place and Getsham didn't really fight that too much there. And he will settle for 6th place for now.
Inevitable surrender, of course. As we're seeing the fastest lap from Kimi. Well pulled out there, 29.1.
Not really surprised is that. Oh my
the Haas
word,
is gone. What's happened there? Is his steering wheel broken or something? That's very interesting. He's just pulled off.
He just didn't brake, it didn't look like.
And he hasn't been able to turn. He's now gone into the pause menu, I think. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what's gone on there, but he's off the road, and that's his. We were just talking how amazing his race had been up to that point, but I don't know what's happened, but it seemed to end in disaster. Really not sure what's happened there. Can't explain. Can you think of an explanation for why he's just driven off the road?
He might have just done a team of Marduk in season 15 Japan and just forget to brake. But that would look like a substantial error, a human error there. I suspect it wasn't anything to do with the game. It might have been.
Maybe his foot's just fell off or something. Who knows? But that's certainly not ideal for him. Lost about the best part of half a minute from that.
7th place. I see right behind him. That's Mr.
A
Peace.
three-way duel.
Frog.
Three-way duel for P8.
On the quicker tyres. Mr. Pazchek will now be at a substantial disadvantage now. On those worn medium tyres, he'll have no real chance of gaining, unlike Ghost and Getsham ahead of him.
Yes, he's gone from
so well.
He's gone from defending P1 and P2 to now we've got another yellow. What's that about? Is it about Boxer Frog? Yeah, it is. He spun with Bew there. As I was just about to say that these two might be hunting him down for that P7 position he holds for now, but no. Instead, they've come together and both lost a substantial amount of time, unfortunately for them.
And Gioco's right behind his his teammate here. Going to the final corner. Could be seeing a move between the two Mercedes drivers.
Box Frog does
That
not quite have
infamous
DRS.
2014 battle between the two Mercedes drivers. This should be pretty easy for the Italian. And there it is. Up into P11 he goes.
Seen a lot of overtakes, many of them like that, with one guy on a tyre advantage cruises past with DRS. Hignoldi has pitted with only 6 laps left of this race. That's a bold call from the McLaren.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he went onto the softs after starting on the softs. So it's in the tyre rules. You have to pit onto at least. You have to use at least one mandatory tyre.
Use 2 different tyre compounds, of
Two
course.
different tyre one of them being mandatory. You use the soft tyres, which are the mandatory tyre, but he's onto the super soft now. So we should be seeing some good lap times from the McLaren driver. He comes out in last place, if you don't count Big Boss's retirement and B-Dave disconnection. 3 seconds behind his teammate though.
And of course, both of the drivers ahead of him, in fact 3 of the drivers ahead of him, are on medium tyres, or substantially more worn than his supers. So we're going to inevitably see him claw a lot of positions back. As talking of clawing positions back, pass check. After that disastrous altercation earlier, gets the place on Mr. Ghost for P6.
Mr. Ghost might be fighting him back here. He's the one with the rear wing open. And he's pulling out to the inside now. The Ferrari driver against a Haas driver, side by side into turn 1. He has the inside line, but the Haas driver keeps it round the outside.
Beautiful outbraking manoeuvre there, braking very late for that corner. We're also seeing an overtake between Fregioko and Bew for P10. Fregioko on much better tyres, takes the position 10, which I presume he holds, and Siniak gets a penalty. We're also still seeing this battle continue between Mr. Ghost and Pazchek.
Pazchek, I think, has solidified his place in P6 unless Mr. Ghost can have another say there's a bit of contact. Nothing more than a little front wing dabble onto the rear wing
of the car.
It looks like the top 5 might be settled down. Animus though. Actually, forget that. Animus is gaining on the Force India there. Oh, some idiot. So he definitely looking to get back his second place.
Mr. Ghost is gone. He's spun off at the difficult turn 12 on those very worn medium tyres he has on the car. Just not stuck for him.
That corner.
Yeah, you'd have thought that they'd be a bit more cautious now with quite a bit more worn tyres and quite a bit of fatigue as we enter the last few laps, but clearly not. And he's actually now going to have to be defending from the Torosso behind him.
A pretty solid race of Livingston in P9. He could be having his say on things for P8, Mr. Ghost. After that error that a lot of people have been doing, there was a bit of a train forming here. Oh no!
Mr. Ghost has broken early, and was there lag going on? I think there might be a bit of lag.
There was a lot of lag. I saw some alien activity going on there between the Toro Rosso and the Ferrari.
And now Fregioko looks to be taking the place, surprisingly, down the inside of the Toro Rosso. Yep. Livingston's wide, and he's got the place. Maybe, but no, he's got a very good exit. Very good exit from the Toro Rosso. Side by side.
Oh, there.
Bit of lag going on.
Yeah, I saw a bit of lag there.
But Freggio's got the place. And we've seen a teammate overtake. And what's that? It's Livingston. Livingston's nearly spun there, but there's teammate battling going on for P16. Hignoldi on much better tyres than Kaz has right now, and inevitable passes occurred.
Speaking of inevitable passes, we could be seeing a move for second place as Animus is all over the tail of the Force India. He's going to make the move down the inside into turn 1. The Force India fights it. He's got the outside line for turn 2. Much fresher tyres for the Sauber against the Force India. And they're going side by side up towards turn 4. We've seen so many battles in the past. From turn 1 to turn 4, maybe up towards turn 6 and 7. Sauber backs out. He couldn't get the move stuck. Force India stays in second.
Of course, Force India's tyres on very old mediums now. It'll be a miracle to see him hold on to that P2, but I'm rooting him to try and do it. But of course, Animus, who's shown very good pace all this afternoon, deserves that P2 position, and surely with 3 laps left still to go, he's going to claim it.
I'm looking at both of the AORS deployment. Both are on very, very low, so
Particularly Animus.
not a lot, yeah. But thankfully for Animus, he will have a DRS advantage down the main straight.
But however, how will he be able to use it? Because look how low his ERS is. When it gets that low, you can't deploy it properly. Maybe some idiot will have 1 lap left in him to defend against the Sauber, or maybe not.
It's incredibly close. In fact, he breaks a little bit earlier. He has to get a better exit onto the start-finish straight. DRS activated right now. The rear wing open on the Sauber. Tucking into the slipstream, very defensive, moving from the Force India, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep the Sauber at bay. Side by side into turn 1, but there we go. Sauber's now up in 2nd place, and that is that.
So I mean, it's been a very well done race from Animus so far. 10 seconds behind Kimi on what I'd say is an inferior strategy ping for the supers that early. He's shown very good pace as he did in qualifying, and very well deserves that P2 place that he's almost certainly going to finish in. Hope I don't put the commentator's curse on him there.
Yeah, very well executed race from both Kimi Larson and Animus, particularly Animus, because the name we haven't really heard of. Kimi, we obviously have heard of.
F1 Esports.
Yeah.
But
Some idiot hasn't done that bad either on the one-stop strategy. Still in the DRS of the Sauber, but I suspect he won't be able to keep within the 1 second for much longer.
This makes me really devastated for Pazchek having that issue, because right now what we'd be seeing is Pazchek be a few seconds, I'd say, ahead of Animus, and it'd be going on to the last lap, I suspect. A very tense battle over P2 between the two drivers.
But saying that, he is slowly but surely catching up to Getchum in 5th place. Aaron does a very well executed race himself, very quiet race after the 2nd phase of pit stops on his one-stop strategy, but he will have to contend with the Haas in his rear mirrors for the final 2 laps.
There's a train of cars battling for P8 in general, but particularly P10 and P11. 5-car train of cars that are all in relatively close proximity, as they have an 11-second gap to P7. Gonna possibly see the Sauber now of Bu over the back of Livingston, who's on quite old soft tyres versus equally old or quite old mediums, but there's the slipstream and the ERS use. Might well take P10, and he does, I think. Can he keep it stuck under brakes? Torso around the outside. Torso is very close there through turn 3. Sauber out on the curb, and it's going to be a drag race now between him and the Mercedes. Boxer Frog going for it, and he's done it.
Oh, is he trying to go for a move on the Sauber? No, okay. That looked very ambitious, I would have said. But he makes his move up into 11th place, just outside the points. But, as I said before, points aren't really that important in this race.
And
it's about consistency in the lap times and making as little mistakes as possible.
Let's
Which
ride with.
One man definitely hasn't been doing is Kimi Larson, who's actually about to lap his teammates, as well as Hinyaldi, who actually picks up a 3-second penalty for his matters, as both of them look like they'll be making way for the leader of the race.
What? What's happened there? The McLaren's just gone straight into the side of Kimi Larson. It's very interesting.
By doing that, he's lost a place to Ryan, though.
Not sure what's quite gone through his head there, unless he's just missed his braking point. But
oh no! Boo's lost it at that same corner, that infamous corner of turn 12, I think it is. It might be turn 13. I'm not 100% sure, but that turn with the curb, it just it's difficult. That and the car is just on a good match. It just seems.
We seem to see Getchum has taken the place against Pazchek. They're battling for P5 on the last lap, both on completely dead medium tyres on their one-stop strategies. Aaron seems to be defending for now, as maybe it's ideal to ride on board with.
Okay, then Mr. Peace Type sends it on the Haas driver. He could be now he's on the tail of the Red Bull. We could be seeing him get past the Red Bull, but Kimi Larson now is on the final straight. He's going to come across the line to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's
Yes.
exactly what he would have hoped for at the start of this race.
And
A
Peace
dominant
Type on the
display.
last lap trying to mug both of them for P5. He spent the entire last few laps of this stint in P7 watching these guys do battle, and he's mugged both of them on the last lap. Haas, oh, that was a very good save from Pazchik there. Nearly threw it
Whoa,
everything
that was
away
great.
there through turn 12.
He gets a 3-second penalty for his troubles, but that won't really affect him that much.
In other news, I've been wanting to speak about who's won the race and who's come home to the finish, but we've had so much action ensuing here, as we're also seeing P9 and P8. Are we going to see a move down the inside into the last corner?
On the last corner.
He's gone for it. That's going to be a drag race, surely. Very close, up to the line.
It's all about AOR usage now, and I think
Mr.
Ferrari's
Ghost has
better
it.
than Mercedes.
Mr. Ghost had a... No, there must have been some desync there going on, because Mr. Ghost definitely had the place ahead, but in the finishing order he's finished behind. So that's an interesting result. And we're going to see the last of the finishers. We haven't actually been able to talk about the running order of who's come home
We
where
haven't, because there's so much action in this evaluation race.
on this last lap, yeah.
Very entertained as I'm stuck on board with a stationary Sauber of Bo, who finishes in 13th.
So
Unlucky for some.
guess we'll finally be able to run through it after the podium ceremony. Of who's finished where.
That was a very good race for a race that didn't really need to be that good. Kimi Larson takes the win as Renault team celebrate their first win of hopefully many with the esports coming up. Kimi alongside Sven Zerner and TRL Emilus.
Yo.
I should say that. If I'm not Jill Emilus, I should say, oh, James Doherty.
Yo. Split 2 Limitless. Black screen. And there we have the final finishing results. Seeing some drivers pick up penalties there. It's probably finally time to run through the finishing order of Drawmaster Animus. Some idiot completes the podium ahead of the penalised Ian Bastain. Mr. P-Stipe in P5. Getcham in P6. Pazchek takes P7 in the Haas. Fred Yoko in P8. Who's all race battling with the likes of Mr. Ghost, and Levikson takes the last point of the race in P10.
Yep. Very enthralling race from start to finish there. Action all over the field, and Drawmaster comes out on top. The two-stop strategy proving victorious for the Swedish driver. The one-stop strategy did look pretty effective for some drivers. For example, Getcham made places up his rivals, but Mr. Peace-Type did a very solid race in P5. Can't forget about the German driver.
And of course, Pazchek, who looked on for a pretty miraculous P2 until he had that issue at turn 1, which we still don't know the reasoning for.
Yeah.
But P7, I guess, particularly Sal considering what happened on the last lap, dropping him from P5 to P7. But that's how the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid, and the drivers who benefited from his troubles certainly won't be complaining.
It's not only about finishing order, it's about the lap times, and they look pretty consistent out there. So that might be a silver lining to his bad finishing position. But there we go. That is the evaluation race complete.
Can we get interviews? Can we do that?
In a private call, James. I don't really think we can get interviews.
Let's see. Who actually competed on that race is on my friend Siniak. I'll invite him in. Why not? Great stuff. Interview me, XD, says Hayden. Hayden, come in. You definitely.
Oh, yeah, we can definitely. Yeah.
This is terrific stuff.
Oh, I've just been given. Oh, hello.
Hello, Hayden. Oh, so we're getting an
hi,
interview
Hayden.
now with P4 place finisher of Ian Bastain. How did your race go then? Or
Is
not?
my mic on now?
Yep,
yeah?
your mic's on.
Oh, okay. I was overall happy with my pace. I'm pretty sure I could have finished third. Because I had two really bad spins. which was on turn 11. I think it's the false right-hander at the start of the third sector.
Hmm.
And I still have a bad habit there from 2017 of driving too close to the curb. So I basically touched that inside curb 2 times and I spun both times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we caught one of at
Yeah.
least one of those. We saw that a lot across the race actually. A lot of drivers, particularly
Yep.
towards the end of stints, getting caught out there. I saw you got a penalty as well. How did you pick that up on what is traditionally quite hard to
Uh,
corner cut?
I had one time I went wide in one corner, and then 2 slide cuts as well.
Final question. What do you
Just,
think about Shit, I just interrupted you. Who cares? What do you think about your chances of getting in split 2 for this season?
Probably not happening unless another miracle happens like last season.
Okay, best of luck with you at that. Hoping to race with you again, because I'll be in
Yeah,
split 2
same.
almost certainly. If I'm not, I'll commentate instead.
I think my race pace was good, but
Yeah, I have to say your race
Yeah,
pace looked better.
trials.
Your race pace did look better.
Yeah, my time trials were really bad. It was like the first day of me playing the game. So yeah.
But well done to you on P4. And hey,
Yeah,
Hayden, do you want to be interviewed? You had a good race.
Yes, very good race.
So what happened in your race then?
Good consistent lap times.
Yep, you definitely got invited.
Yep.
You definitely signed up. But
Yeah.
We saw some great action for you, Hayden.
I'm very happy that they let me go in that final space.
yes,
Oh,
blame Kaz.
Thanks for that.
You've been hashtag blessed by the AOR gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Arava just said he recognised my name as well, so I'm quite happy now.
Oh, was Arava watching our stream? What?
No, I
Oh,
commented
I
on
remember watching on stream.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I commented on his stream and he said, "Oh, I recognise your name."
Oh, he's live in Black Ops.
yeah, I suspect that should probably be the end of the stream then. I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks
I'll leave you
everyone
to
for
say the final
watching.
words then. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks everyone who actually decided to take time out of their day for this. First off, what are you doing? And second off, you're going to be racing, aren't you, James?
Who's going to be racing? What?
You.
Yes, I'm going to be racing on Sunday. What? Yes.
What? It's something today.
What? What are you
What?
talking about? What? Smooth.
This is a great end to the stream.
Let's just goodbye stream. This is all outtakes.
Yes,
Don't worry.
Thank you for watching.
This didn't happen.
Bye.
Goodbye.